Have you ever noticed that weird pattern? You know, the one that only seems to show up right when things are starting to go your way? Okay, let's get into this, because once you see what's really going on, you'll never be able to unsee it. So it always starts out great. You're finally making some real, tangible progress. Maybe you get a raise, or you finally lock in that good habit you've been working on. Things are actually moving forward. And with that progress, you start to feel stable, right? The old chaos starts to fade away, and you're settling into a new normal that's just better. And you get that amazing feeling of relief. You know the one. That little voice in your head that says, wow, things are finally working. It feels like you've cracked the code. And then something shifts. The engine just stalls. You start procrastinating, or you make a weird decision that comes completely out of left field. And just like that, the progress grinds to a halt. I mean, if you look at it from the outside, it makes absolutely zero sense. Why would you ruin the very thing you've been working so hard for? It feels like you're choosing to fail, but you're not. So what is going on? And you know, we always give ourselves the same old excuses. Oh, I just lost discipline, or I got distracted, or my favorite, I just got lazy. But those excuses feel kind of cheap, don't they? The pattern is way too predictable to just be laziness. This happens all the time, right before a huge breakthrough, right after a big promotion. It's almost automatic. So let's flip this whole thing on its head. What if we're looking at it all wrong? What if the enemy we're fighting isn't our tendency to fail? What if the real problem is success itself? What if that feeling of leveling up, of moving beyond what's familiar, what if that's the actual trigger for the entire breakdown? Because here's the thing, real success creates this deep internal discomfort we just don't expect. And this whole idea revolves around something called a psychological set point. The easiest way to think about it is like a thermostat for your life. It's this internal range for how much success, how much money, even how much happiness your brain thinks is normal and safe for you. And it's all based on your past experiences. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. We all think growth is this straight line pointing up. More success equals more happiness, simple. But what's actually happening is totally different. The moment you push past your set point, your brain doesn't cheer. It hits the panic button. It senses something strange and unfamiliar, which it reads as dangerous, and it immediately starts trying to drag you back down to what it considers normal. And this just nails it. This is the core idea. We don't just magically rise to our potential. We consistently, predictably fall back to the level of our internal set point. So, this invisible ceiling, how does it actually show up in the real world? Let's talk about what this actually looks like day to day. Okay, think about money. Someone gets a big raise, but then, mysteriously, their spending goes up, or unexpected expenses keep popping up out of nowhere. A few months later, they're right back in the same financial spot they were before. Or habits. You build this incredible routine. You're working out, waking up early, feeling amazing. And then one day, you just stop. Not because it was hard, but because the new identity of being that person just felt weird. It even happens in relationships where people will literally, unconsciously, start a fight just to get back to a familiar level of drama. Because calm, stable happiness feels threateningly new. So you see, the problem was never about a lack of discipline. It wasn't about willpower. It was a full-blown clash of identity. Your new, successful behaviors were going to war with your old, comfortable idea of who you are. All right, so if that's the problem, what on earth do we do about it? Well, the goal isn't just to try harder. The goal is to consciously, deliberately raise that invisible ceiling. So here's how you do it. First, you have to notice the pattern. Become a detective of your own behavior. When does the self-sabotage kick in? Write it down. Just seeing the invisible pattern makes it real. Second, you have to normalize success. Your brain is going to treat that new win like a one-time fluke. You have to actively tell yourself, nope, this is the new normal. This is my new baseline. Third, you consciously upgrade your identity. You have to ask, who is the person who has this life?
And then decide, I am the kind of person who wakes up at 6 a.m. You're not faking it. You're deciding who you're becoming. Fourth, reduce the emotional spikes. Big, wild celebrations can actually signal to your brain that this success is a huge anomaly. If you stay calm and steady, you're telling your subconscious, see, this is normal. No need to freak out. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, allow the discomfort. That queasy, unfamiliar feeling you get when you're growing, that's not a stop sign. It's a landmark telling you that you're heading in exactly the right direction.
Seriously, let that one sink in for a second. That anxiety you feel when things are going well isn't a warning to run back to safety. It is the clearest possible sign that you are expanding beyond your old limits. And in the end, that's what this all boils down to. The real ceiling on your life isn't how hard you work or how much talent you have. It's the border of what you subconsciously believe is normal for you. So the real question is, what version of normal are you protecting right now, and are you finally ready to raise it?